So I want to come to you today with a message that has been on my heart and troubling me a bit because I see so much of what's happening in our world and how the instinct that many of us have to retreat and go inward and feel fear instead of claiming our agency. I'm a bit up in arms about it. And just let me give you a bit of background. So, if you're new to me, I'm Amanda Miller Littlejohn. I am executive coach. I am the author of a book called The Rest Revolution. And so I speak and share a lot on overwork and burnout. And prior to my journey to write that book and do all the work that I've been doing as a mental health journalist, I spent 15 years as a personal brand strategist. And as a matter of fact, I still do some of that work today. And so, as I'm thinking about where we are in terms of all of the crazy things that are happening in the world right now, the economy, mass layoffs, disruptions to the workforce, and how we even get work done, and our potential for employment due to technology innovations. We've got coups and wars and all sorts of things happening in the world right now. And I think a lot of people are looking for hope. They are looking for opportunity. They're looking for opportunity. But instead of seeing themselves as a source of great power and opportunity, they are looking outside of themselves because that's what they've been trained to do. That's what most of us are trained to do. We go to school, try to do well, go to college or go to trade school, and then we get a job. What happens when that system fails and the type of work or opportunity that you've been training and working and studying and learning and networking and preparing yourself for is not available, or there's so much competition that you can't seem to get anchored? What do you do? So I've been thinking about that. And I've been thinking about how timely my original work with personal branding and package your genius is for this moment we're in right now. So let me backtrack a bit. If you're not familiar with package your genius, that was really my motto, my brand, my tagline, my whole message to people. You have to package your genius. And it was a pretty well received message. And around 2015 or so, that was where I feel like it picked up the most steam. The idea that, you can create something for yourself. You can look inside and identify your unique skills and strengths and talents and passions and desires and the things that you're good at and the things that you can do to help other people. You can look at that, not wait for someone else to choose you, and you can choose yourself. And that was really my message. Don't wait for someone to tell you what they have for you, but look inside of yourself and decide what lights you up and how can you package that in order to be of service in the world. That is still, again, work that I do to this day. But because I wrote a book in the last year on rest and burnout, that has really become like the thing that I've been talking about the most because it's the most relevant thing and the most recent thing I'm pushing right now. But the personal branding work is me at my core. And what it really is about is self empowerment. It's about helping people get past their own mindset junk, limiting beliefs, and the ideas that they can't be, do, or have the things that they want. So that's really the core of it. And I think that it took this form of personal branding because a lot of people were coming to me saying, how can you help me market myself so I can stand out for new opportunities, for new jobs, for new clients, for all of the things that I want? And so a neat way to kind of put that in a package, so to speak, was to call it personal branding. But it's really so much more than that. It's so much bigger than that. It's tapping into, again, your power to create, your power to decide, and your power to choose the work that is most energizing to you. So, with that background of my work in mind, I want to share with you some of the things that I am aware of that we do, right? when we are in a posture of putting ourselves out there to build a personal brand, but feeling a lot of fear, there's a lot of similarities between when someone is ready to finally build a brand for themselves and the place that many people are finding themselves in now, whether they are experiencing a layoff, they are trying to start a business, or they're pivoting because they are tired of doing the thing that they've been known for the last decade or so. And so when you're at that point, wherever you are and whatever brought you to that point of transition, what I have seen time and time again is that our social conditioning and the messages that we've received throughout our lives really tend to hold us back. So I want to point out a few of those mindsets and I want to give you a shift that you can make in case you're in that space. Because to be honest with you, the people who are going to survive and thrive in this current era are the people who work daily to improve their mindsets, build themselves up, believe in themselves, cultivate their confidence and really get out of their own way because so much of this is the internal work, the internal messages and the thoughts that you have that keep you from acting and doing the things that are going to get you the things that you want. So my thought today is that if I can make you aware of a few of the most dominant offenders, the most recurring negative messages and limiting beliefs and just like negative habits that people have when they're on the cusp of something new, that you can be aware of it. When you see yourself doing it, you can pull yourself back and you can use one of these reframes that I'm going to share with you today. Okay, first things first, when things hit the fan, when we enter some rough and choppy waters, whether that means you're going through a divorce, whether that means you experienced a layoff or you've been out of work for a long time and you're having a really hard time getting new work, whether your business has slowed down, whether, you hit a rough patch in your parenting journey, whether you experience grief because you've lost someone that you care about. One of the human instincts is to double down on the negative feelings. I'm going through something hard, so I'm going to talk down on myself, wallow, be in pity, or be in defeat. I am going to, beat myself up for the mistakes that I made that got me to this place. I'm going to go over all of the things that I did wrong and what I should have done differently. And I'm really just going to get mired in the negativity of who I am and what I did to deserve being in this place. That's a fruitless exercise. You may have made some mistakes. You may have made some dumb mistakes. You may have done some things that you are not proud of. But ultimately, when it comes to moving forward, staying mired in what didn't work doesn't help you get to the next level. Now, if you are doing a purpose-scaping cycle and you're doing your winter reflection and you're trying to say, okay, what do I want to do differently? That's one thing. But to simply surrender to the negative feelings of a really difficult season is a setup. Instead of doubling down on the negative, and it sounds very counterintuitive, when you hit those rough waters, that is actually the time to turn up the positivity, to affirm yourself, to remind yourself of what you do well, to remind yourself of the good things and the good decisions that you've made and all of the great things that make you feel proud about yourself. Because what you really want to do is generate those good feelings that can allow you to climb out of that rut and start brainstorming and start getting creative and start thinking about what you can do to change your situation. But if you stay stuck in the negativity, it just gets heavier and heavier and heavier. It's like quicksand. It just pulls you deeper into the muck. So I want you, as hard as it is, to try as you might to speak life into yourself. Remind yourself of your wins. Remind yourself of your best qualities. Talk to yourself like a friend, like an encouraging coach who believes in you and loves you and thinks you are amazing, because ultimately that is what you will have to become for yourself if you want to climb out of the tough situation. Number two, the rough times are the times when you really need to lean into loving yourself the most. Now, let me clarify. I know for me, if I'm going through something, like if I feel low or going through a bad patch or I feel depressed, my instinct is to just kind of let myself go, be frumpy, not put on, an outfit, not do my hair and makeup, just kind of look like what I'm going through, right? I might get off of my morning routine and not do my exercise or not do my sound baths, not do my journaling and not do my mindset work. I might start eating just whatever and just reclusing, becoming a recluse, not reaching out to friends and family and not showing up like a person who is happy, energized, and full of life. And when I think about all of those actions, they're all examples of not self hate, but definitely not self love. When you're in a rough patch, you are fragile, right? You need your own tenderness and love the most. So instead of punishing yourself, mistreating yourself, dressing like you don't care about yourself, eating like you don't care about yourself, foregoing your fitness and exercise and mental health and wellness routines because you couldn't care less. This is the time to really pour into yourself as much as you can. And this does not have to mean, going to the spa or doing things that cost money. While if you can afford to do it, you absolutely should. But again, you want to do whatever you can do to generate good, positive, loving, expansive feelings. Once you're feeling that, it's easier to act the part and take the actions that you'll need to take to get out of your situation. It's that whole cliche, if you look good, you feel good, right? And I think, who is it? Deion Sanders says, you look good, you feel good, you play good, or, you know, or something like that. I forget the whole thing, but it's really true. If you, put on the outfit of success and positivity, it's difficult to stay mired in the actions of someone who does not hold that mindset. So go ahead and get yourself moving in that direction by, plating your food and eating slowly and speaking kindly to yourself, wearing something that makes you feel good, talking to someone who makes you feel good, showing up for yourself, showing up for your life, leaving the house, getting out in the world, and carrying yourself like you are proud of who you are. It sounds counterintuitive when you're going through a rough patch, but it will help. I promise you, it absolutely will help. The third thing we have to do, and this is especially relevant for people who are in a season of building a personal brand or building a business or looking for new employment, you've got to stop looking for every reason that you can't do something, that it won't work, right? But specifically that you are not the person who is ready for this opportunity. That's one of the things that I find myself doing the most in my work, my coaching work with clients, is just helping them envision and imagine and believe in the possibility of your dreams. Of course, if you look around, you're going to find lots of evidence for why you can't do something or why someone hasn't done it before, but maybe you're the first to do it. Maybe it'll work for you. You might just get lucky. Maybe this is your time. Maybe it didn't work for your friend, or it didn't work for your mom, or it didn't work for the valedictorian or the smartest person in the class. But that doesn't mean it won't work for you. So we've got to stop counting ourselves out and looking for reasons why our skills aren't good enough, our idea isn't good enough, our funding isn't strong enough, our network isn't powerful enough. Like, stop looking for reasons to talk yourself out of doing the thing that you want to do. You're going to find them if you look, but you want to get to the point where you have built yourself up enough that you're laser focused on the outcome that you're after and who you do see yourself being. One of the things I say all the time to everyone who will listen is, what you focus on will grow. So if you focus on the parts of yourself that aren't up to par, or you don't feel are good enough, you will only see more evidence of that. So Not to say, okay, ignore the things that you need to improve or lie to yourself or, be deluded. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's hard enough to get a dream off the ground without you being, the biggest detractor. Don't be your own biggest detractor. The world is going to give you plenty to fight against and fight for. But start by affirming yourself and affirming why it can work for you, why you are the person. Every time you find yourself thinking about how you are not that girl or you are not the one to make it happen, I want you to come up with an alternative reason for why you are or why you could be or why could it be you? Why can't it be you? Now, this one is a big piece again of the personal branding work. We've got to stop downplaying our genius or the fact that we have a genius. I used to say everyone has a genius and I want to help you find your genius and package your genius and get your genius out into the world. Some people really are bothered by that idea. The idea that everyone is or has something unique and special about them. And you hear terms like, "Oh, you're not a special snowflake," or millennials are people who think that, they have something, but we all have something that we do. We have a way of doing something. We all have something that is unique to us and that is special and it's a gift. Now, you do have to do the work to find it. And sometimes it's actually not work at all because it's the thing that's right under your nose. But we've got to stop telling ourselves that we're not special. There's nothing special about us. There's nothing unique about us. There's no genius aspect of what we do. And maybe the thing that you've been chasing professionally is not the genius that you were born here to do. And that's why it feels like it's not the thing you're supposed to be doing. Or maybe that's why it feels like you're not a genius because you are pursuing the wrong path or you're pursuing the thing that's not natural to your unique set of skills, gifts, personality, talents, all the things. And so I know it sounds a little Pollyanna-ish to say, well, of course I have a genius, but I want you to truly believe, close your eyes and take a deep breath and really embrace the idea that you are unique. You are one of one. There's something that you do. There's something that you have that only you have. And you can build a life, you can build a practice, you can build a brand, a business, podcast, a book, a service, a ministry, a class, a community around that thing. We all have a thing. We all have something. And I would venture to say that many of us have multiple somethings. I think one of the things that I do well is I'm good at seeing people's possibilities. And that's what made me a great personal branding coach because a big part of personal branding is seeing your strengths and then helping you package that. But what I'm finding is that it's so much bigger than personal branding. It's not just about what you want to do with those skills and strengths from a branding standpoint, but I really have gift of speaking life into people. I see the best parts of them and I speak into that. And I feel like that's one of my gifts and that's one of my points of genius. And I just truly believe we all have something that we do well and that the world needs. And that's the biggest thing that I've really been focused on lately. Is what do I have that people really need? And that's why I really wanted to record this today because I feel like people need encouragement right now. People really need to be refocused on the possibilities. People really need to be reminded of their power and their agency. You know, what if it doesn't work? But what if it does? Right? What if I did? But what if you win? Oh, what if nobody buys it? But what if you sell out? It's just exciting, right? And the thing is, the negative stuff may happen and you try again, you live to fight another day and try another day, but you keep going because you just never know what is going to hit. All right, so another thing I want to say, that I've seen over the years. When we have experienced a mistake, made a mistake, or experienced a defeat, we tend to let that cripple us indefinitely. So, by that I mean we beat ourselves up, or we just replay in our minds over and over again how we got it wrong, how it went bad, how it didn't work. You got to let that go because that was what happened, but that is not necessarily what is going to happen. You've learned from that experience. You are different now. Hopefully, you're better now. You know the pitfalls, but you're operating from this place of a reflex because you're triggered by whatever negative situation happened in the past, whatever failure that you want to keep yourself from experiencing again. You don't want to feel those bad feelings, and it makes sense. You don't want to feel the rejection. You don't want to feel the hurt. You don't want to feel the disappointment of going through that again and it not working again. Like maybe you feel like you just don't have it in you to experience that one more time. But what I want you to know is after having worked with people over 15 or so years at this point, a lot of us are letting things from way back in the past that really are not relevant to the present and the present version of who we are dictate how we move in this present moment and how we set up our futures. And so that might be something that you need to work through with a therapist. Like, how are you letting the past control your current moment? And how are you letting the past control what you do or don't do for the future? And are you operating from a place of fear because you're just terrified to experience the negative feelings that you experienced in the past around that failure? So we got to stop letting these past failures cripple us indefinitely. The last thing that I want to share is when we noticed ourselves having negative beliefs, whether it's around the fact that, oh, I'm really not as good as she is at doing this, at making videos, right? Or my business should be bigger by now, or my network isn't as supportive or powerful or connected. Whatever the negative mistake or the negative idea that tends to come up in your mind, whether it's your inner critic or just that self talk that's not encouraging. One of the things I shared recently with one of my coaching clients who, from the outside looking in, is experiencing extreme success in a very difficult economic environment. She started a business and is killing it. Like she's killing it. She's hiring team. She's making more money than she's ever made. And one of the messages that keeps her up at night is, well, what if it all ends? And what if I'm not able to keep this going? And what if it's just kind of a fluke and it's been luck to this point? And mind you, it's been over a year of great success. She's clearly well positioned for this moment. And so I told her, when you have that thought come into your mind that is counterproductive and is not helping you reach your goals, right? And especially if it's speaking against the reality of evidence that you see in the present moment. You're killing it, you're doing really well, but you still got this message that is trying to get you to fear that somehow, yes, you did well, but it's just been luck so far and it can all go away at any moment. That voice is a bully. That voice is a bully. And so the way you've got to deal with bullies is you've got to shut them down. You have to show them how to treat you. So you wouldn't let someone talk crazy to you in the workplace or at school or on the school bus. And then every day you get on the bus or you go into the office and you dread walking down the hall and seeing them because you know they're going to start taunting you. If you don't speak up, fight back, say something, they're going to get louder and louder and bolder, and they are going to target you because you're an easy target. That voice is the same way. If you don't confront it and counteract it with an alternative message, right? So for my client, it might be something like, man, who cares if it all ends? It's been a good run. Or, I'm killing it right now. A lot of people are looking for work. A lot of my colleagues are not doing well, and I am overflowing to the point where I have to hire other people, right? I'm doing great. And if I can do a great job and have such success in such a difficult environment, imagine what I'll do when the economy and the environment takes a turn and rebounds and is easier to navigate. Like if I can win right now in these rough waters, imagine what I can do over a calm sea, right? And so I encouraged her to every day, don't wait for the thoughts to come, but every day get up and tell yourself the things that counteract that dangerous narrative that a negative voice and an inner critic is trying to get you to focus on. Remember, it's a bully. And so you've got to hit it with more volume, both in terms of the amount of positive messages and the loudness of your positive message. Overshadow that bully. Out talk it, right? Out encourage it. Like if the bully has one negative thought, I'm going to hit it with three positives. But that is really the essence of my message today. Like we have to get intentional about building ourselves up on a daily basis if we want to survive this current environment. So whatever that means for you, whether you know your big thing is dwelling on a failure or, not loving yourself and not taking care of yourself because you're in a bad season or telling yourself that there's nothing special about you and you don't really have a genius and there's nothing unique about what you bring to the world. Whatever your thing is, or if it's a fear about it all going away, every single day when you get up, I want you to talk back to that negative voice. Out talk it you know, be the most positive version. Affirm yourself. Affirm the opposite. Affirm your genius. Recount your wins. Think about, how you are doing really well in a difficult time and how you've come through difficult moments before. You're going to have to be intentional, and this is not something that you can do every once in a while or when you feel like it. But make it a daily practice, like brushing your teeth. This world will be won and owned by the people who can create an inner world that is strong and a positive mindset that allows them to stay resilient and get up and go again and again and again. But if you stay mired in the negativity, if you stay focused on the fear, that negativity, those fears will grow and they will immobilize you and you'll never do anything. You'll miss your life because you are so stuck in the negative place, in the fear, in the disappointment that you're unable to move. And I want so much more from you. So if this was helpful to you, let me know in the comments what you are going to take away from this message. What are you going to start doing every day? What are you going to start telling yourself? What are you going to start writing down? How are you going to start affirming yourself daily? What about your gifts are you going to start speaking life into? Because otherwise, you'll start to absorb all of the negativity that's swirling around us anyway. It does not take much. You pick up your phone and start scrolling, you look at the news, you turn on the TV, you walk down the street. There's so much negativity to be found if that's what you're looking for. And so you've got to do the work to counteract that by working on your internal reality and your mindset every single day. I hope this was helpful. And comment and let me know what you are going to take away and what you're going to start doing today because I want to hold you accountable and cheer you on. Also, subscribe, like, share, all the things to get this message out to more folks. I'll see you next time.